Hi everyone, Mel here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to share with you my number one tip for boosting confidence and self-esteem, which has really worked for me, massively has helped me. So I'd like to share this with you because it's so important to me. And quite simply, it's putting yourself out of your comfort zone and facing your fears. In a nutshell. Sounds so simple, does it not? But it's not easy, because if it was easy, you'd be doing it already. But no, it's hard to put yourself out of your comfort zone because it's not comfortable to do so, clues in the name. You know what? Our ego loves what's familiar and hates the unknown. And to be fair, there is risk in the unknown, there's danger in the unknown. It's not predictable. But when we push ourselves, then we can accomplish things that we didn't even dream were possible. All the greatest advances in technology, in medicine, in sport. We see people on the Olympics. I'm watching people, I'm like, blimey, how are you able to do that? That is just ridiculous. It's amazing what us humans can do if you just put our minds to it and keep pushing with the goal in mind. And even when you don't see results straight away, you just keep going, and then you're able to accomplish things that you didn't even think you could have done. And that is so empowering. It's amazing. But it does require that initial leap of taking a chance and doing something different and doing what feels uncomfortable. To get out of the comfort zone, it means to do things which you wouldn't do on a daily basis because, you know, we're creatures of habit and comfort, and we like to do things that bring us pleasure and avoid things that bring us discomfort, quite simply. But if we always stayed within these parameters of comfort, then do we ever really evolve? Do our lives ever really change? If you want to change, if you want to improve your health, your fitness, change your diet, change your lifestyle, learn a new hobby, change your job, anything like that, then you have to go outside of your comfort zone. It's the only way. And to be sat and ruminating and thinking about it and daydreaming and thinking, yeah, I'm going to be like this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you don't do anything, then you're just a dreamer, forever dreaming. But don't you think over time that maybe you might get a bit disappointed, maybe have regrets, thinking I could have done this, but I didn't. Why didn't I? Look, it's not easy and it's not fun. It's definitely not enjoyable, but the rewards are worth it. And let me share with you a few examples. Biggest one for me would be getting tattoos. I am covered in them. Absolutely. Yeah, well, got my arm one there, you can see my videos, but whole back, whole ribs, legs, whatever, you name it. I love the needle now. But I used to hate needles. I had a massive, massive needle phobia. I was that kid who would like see a needle and faint. Any injection, any blood test, vomiting, fainting, you name it. It was not a fun experience. And yet, I got my first tattoo when I was 22. I really wanted a tattoo, and I thought, don't like that there's needles involved, but you know, fuck it, I want a tattoo. So got one on my foot. I like toe rings, but I find them really uncomfortable. So I thought, well, I'll get a tattoo of a toe ring. So on the foot as well. It's a painful place with the bones. But I did it, and I was bricking it. All right, I was sweating, I was nervous, and I had the tattoo, and I thought, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought. And what the tattooing showed me was that I could survive. You know, I was under the needle, many hours of pain. I learned to meditate and breathe through it and learn to somehow detach myself from the pain, from the anxiety the pain was bringing anyway. And I survived, and I got this beautiful piece of artwork on me. And I was like, yeah, all right, I like the side of myself that can like handle things which used to bring so much fear. I feel like the warrior in me, you know? I've always loved the warrior archetype, and I was feeling that from getting tattoos. So many years later, after getting many more tattoos, I had a blood test, and I hadn't had one in like 10 years because I'm a healthy person. I don't go to the doctors often. And I was like, I barely felt anything. Felt nothing. It was amazing. And in the past where I was fainting and, I could feel all the pain, and it was so much anxiety, took it like a champ, like a boss. And that was empowering. I'm like, look how far I've transformed. Look how far I've come. I'm no longer scared of this needle. I've taken my power back. Yes. Another example, putting myself out there. All right. I'm very much the person who likes to be outside looking in, the observer, the person who doesn't want to be in the limelight. I really don't. And my first experience of being in the limelight would be from performing belly dancing. I used to be part of a belly dance group in my 20s. It was fun dancing in a group. It's a great laugh. But then I decided to go solo, so I had more creative control over the music that I can dance to. And it was terrifying. Oh my days, so terrifying, like being on stage, and I'd be so hypercritical of myself after each performance, like, oh, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. And I noticed, though, the more that I kept doing it, I actually became a better dancer. It's like my dance teacher said, you keep training in like the studio, but eventually you've got to put yourself out there, and that's how you'll really improve. She was right. And my confidence started to improve massively. And you know what? It's not so much from dancing and performing. It's from putting myself out there in the fear that I will be mocked, judged, and ridiculed. And I survived. Because these are fears from childhood. Like when you make a mistake when you're a child and people laugh and point and judge and ridicule you, and I feel embarrassed. I retreat. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that again because it's embarrassing. I was mocked in the past for it. And it's a fear worse than death, is it not? To be ridiculed, to be shamed, to feel embarrassed. It's terrifying. And so there's me as an adult putting myself out there to be potentially mocked and ridiculed. But you know what? Doesn't matter. The opinions of a person who I don't know does not determine who I am. Does not mean that I need to take on what they think of me and make that my label, make that how I see myself. It's rewarding, very rewarding to put yourself out there in the fear of being judged and then realizing I survived. You know what? It doesn't matter. Maybe there were people who liked it. Maybe there were people who didn't like it. But you know what? That's life. And it was through my dancing and performing that gave me the confidence which I applied to my counselling. So not long afterwards, I started giving talks. I would go to expos, and that's quite terrifying as well, talking to lots of people sat there. I was so used to dancing, I thought, okay, no dancing, Mel, just, talking. And I survived, and yeah, there are people who didn't like it, and there are people who liked it. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. See my confidence going up. And then putting myself on YouTube. For someone who doesn't like being exposed, who doesn't like the limelight, there is me like putting myself in the lion's den of like the whole world being able to like judge and comment and criticize. And I took the risk putting myself out there because I want to meet people from around the world through my counseling. I want to share with people what's helped me, what's worked for me. And so I did. I put videos out there and I survived. And it's really empowering to face your fears, the fears of putting yourself out there. My fear of putting myself out there, which is something that I never did. I was always quite withdrawn on the outside to keep safe. And this is me doing the opposite, what I would have ever dreamed of doing as a kid. And yet I'm doing it. And not only am I surviving, but I'm thriving. The reason I'm sharing this all with you, all right, is because this has done wonders for my feelings of confidence and self-esteem. by challenging myself, putting myself out of my comfort zone and doing things which I'd only dreamed about doing, but I felt too nervous or too shy or too scared to do. And then I did it, and I am so much more confident and empowered as a result of doing it. So I made this video to help inspire you, my lovely viewers. If there's something that you've been meaning to do, you've been longing to do, but maybe you felt that you just couldn't, maybe you keep procrastinating, putting it off. Maybe you feel like you just can't do it. You're not good enough. People will laugh, people will judge. Whatever it is, imagine yourself actually doing it. And how do you feel? Do you feel amazing? Do you feel like a longing inside of you that's like, yes, this is something that I really want to do? Why not start taking steps for it today? Stop putting it off. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable doing it. That's the whole point of coming out of your comfort zone. But it's the only way. Honestly, it really is the only way to stop talking about it and to start doing it. And to take that risk that, okay, I may mess up, but it's okay to mess up. It's all right. The world's not going to end. And who knows, you might end up just actually living the life you've wanted to and living your dreams and being the confident, powerful person you've always wanted to be. We have this fear of making mistakes, of not being perfect. I mean, I know that I do, but it's the only way really to risk being imperfect, to risk making mistakes, and to realize that it's okay, I didn't die. Okay, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Share with me any stories, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, bye for now.